Good afternoon, YouTubers. I put together this Scotch Yoke mechanism from a fellow YouTuber that did something almost identical. Obviously, my it's a copy basically of what he did on SolidWorks. So basically, what I did was to transfer what he was doing into this version of Fusion 360. But I found few hiccups here and there as I was working with, and I was able to render, uh, you know, a similar design, and you can tell uh, by the crank here. Uh, but I confronted few problems here and there. So let me show you how this looks like, and then we mess around with it, disassemble it into this part, and let's see what happens. Like for example, let me put this look good there. All right, so you can animate this and animate model. There we go. You can see that it works pretty much the way it should. This is basically, it can go, I mean, you can start the animation on the crank, or you can start the animation through the piston. Uh, but it's kind of pleasant the way it looks like. And but the problem was actually my fault, because my understanding, as you can see here, there's a sliding mechanism going up and down. So somehow in my mind, I figured it out that I have to have a sliding kind of joint here, like this one here. And that was a big mistake, because every time I put that right there, although everything looks good, nothing moved at all. So, it took me a while to figure it out what was the problem, and has to do with particularly this part here, enable contact set. When I figured that out, everything ended up being okay. Um, there's, I would say there are many deviations that I took from um, SolidWorks, the way he did. So because in Fusion 360 it's a lot easier to work with few things here and there. So let's do that. Let's break the whole thing apart, and let's assemble it again, because there are a few things here and there you have to be very, very careful as you go along. So let's stop. Actually, I can do one. Let's see. I did that with this one here. Let's do the sliding now, and let's animate that. Animate model. You see, sometimes you miss that part there. Why? I don't know. It's an issue perhaps with with SolidWorks. Um, you see, when it grab it okay. But let's escape from 1 second, and let me see if I can. You see, when I go slow on it, oops, maybe I have to ensure that I put some limits on this to keep it within control of the mechanism, so it works okay. So let's see, let's figure it let's animate again. Nope, it's not working on that sense. Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem there. It works okay here, and I believe that is probably because it need, oops, if you go too fast, it kind of missed the contact. If somebody knows how to fix that, that would be great, because I get to the point that said maybe it's an issue with the way the contact were here. For example, I make this part as big as you can see. It was right there, but I made this part larger so to have more contact into it. Um, so it's kind of funny. Everything is okay. It's just that maybe I need to put some more into it, like some restriction. and I have to go slow so that it don't miss anything. If we go too fast, then it's get out of the box. Whatever it is, I'm not sure. Might be a Fusion 360. But so you see, if I go too fast, it miss the contact. And when you miss the contact, when it recover it again, is the uh, piston rod is pretty much out of a misaligned with the crank. Um, so let me redo one thing here and there. Let me disassemble the whole thing, and just to ensure that if you want to follow this again, you have a better idea. Let's get this out, and let's remove this as well. So now everything there we go. Have to disable the contact so everything start to move. And I went through many, several iterations until I start to get something that makes sense. So that's basically it. Now, when I was building the whole thing, the first thing that I did is, like, for example, ensure that you get this aligned with this first, because otherwise it's not gonna work at all. So I did the base first. This wasn't here. This part here, component 7 wasn't here. So I did the base, and this wasn't there as well. There was nothing. So the first thing we did was the base. That's component 1, and then the next thing I did was this, and then I did this. So this is the third part, and this actually was the fourth part on the how I designed it. But this is based on the position that I align everything. Okay, so this end up being there because I align this, then the piston rod, and eventually the cylinder for the piston. So to put this back, the first thing that I want to align is ensure that you put this and align that with the cylinder, and then hit join, and hopefully it will get right where it's supposed to. And it seems like let's see, the motion has to be sliding, and that will do. And the next things that you want to be sure that you start to align properly is this is already aligned with this, so no issue here. Is you want to be sure now that this part here is aligned with this part here. So you join that together, and it's kind of interesting, but if you take a look now, everything is kind of messy. So you want to get these outside to a point, obviously, that you still touch the shaft. You can go this way to ensure where it is. It looks good there. Now, and here's the part that is, let's see, that looks good. So let me see the motion. Nope, the motion is wrong. It's this one. Now it's okay. So here's the where I start to goof off, is how to align this with this. And let me say okay, but then here's the big deal. So this move okay, then I start to somehow try to align this with this, like a sliding, and I really did a poor job there because I didn't understood one few things here and there. But let me do something here. let me, like for example, the first thing I notice is, let's ensure that I understand what's going on. Put that right there. Now, to this contact or to this wall, I make this big enough that it will not matter, because basically it will, when it touches the surface, then it will start to move. This go, now check this move that way, so this will move that way, and that makes a lot of sense. So that's where I realized that I need not another type of join, but a contact. So I went here and I said enable contact set, and when those are enabled contact set, you go here, like for example, let's see if I got something here inside contact set, yeah, which are the two. If I delete that, let's delete that. So if I go again, create new contact set, that would be between this surface and that surface there. So let's say okay. Now if I do that, let's see, you see now it work. As soon as it touch it, it move, and it do the trick, then come back. So more or less start to behave the way it should. And you see, but it missed it. Why? No idea. And now it's totally misaligned again, but I have to like force it there, maybe do it again. Disable contact for 1 second, put that back where it's supposed to, but be careful there, like for example how far you want that to be, like for example right there. Maybe you can start anywhere you want to activate that part. So like for example right there. Not sure why Fusion 360 does this. So enable contact set. Now we go back. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it's working. Until then it come back. Perfect. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's separated long. Remember, the way I did it is I aligned these with these, and then whatever distance will be here will be there already for me. So that makes life easier, so I don't have to worry. And so that's pretty much a rendition, although I'm not totally happy because sometimes it missed the contact. Maybe it's have to do with this statement that I have here. This computer graphic driver or hardware may be limiting performance, whatever that means, right? I don't know. Could be. Let's finish this by simply saying, let's do maybe a motion study now, and that would be of this joint here. And so I'm starting at minus 67.3, and so this is, you have to be careful here. Let's see, and we're gonna start at not at 0 but close to let's start minus 67.3, and the last one will be for a whole 360. I will say 292.7, and let's say that, I don't know, 100 maybe. Yep, that will do. So 292.7. Now let's see, Yeah, it did fine. Let's do the loop now. And let's see. Yeah, hopefully, what I'm not sure what caused this um, the crank to disconnect from the yoke. Not sure what's going on there. Must be an issue of 360 or limitation on my computer. But at that speed, looks good. So basically, two joints. Are required. One is a sliding on the piston side and rotation on the crank. And this one that looks like a sliding is just contact between two surfaces. And that's basically it. Well, again, I'm kind of a, I mean, the whole thing is coming from SolidWorks, um, and I did some variation here and there until finally got it to work. Um, Definitely, there's a lot of things that I can improve, um, but if somebody know what's going on with Fusion 360, perhaps maybe it's the version that I'm using. You can see I'm using the non-commercial Fusion, and let's make it faster, as a little bit faster, maybe. That's moving faster. It's still there. I haven't the piston haven't left the crank alone, so they're still in contact faster. Yeah, still moving okay. Two sliding and one contact. That's it. Extremely easy to put together. However, it's just when you know what you're doing at the end of the game, you have to know a little bit about that. Actually, this one here that looks like sliding was just it's a contact. It's being pushed. That's all. Why sometimes it disengage? I don't know. That's again, if somebody knows and can tell me why it disengage, let's do it faster until see what happens. So far, so good. Faster. Well, there we go. Too fast, it disengage. That in real life would not happen unless the pin on the crank breaks, but or something breaks, but not the way it is here. Like for example, let's see if I can pick it. If nope, when it's out of totally misaligned, then it cannot. It will not back. It will not go back unless let's see if I can touch it maybe. No, not because it's in motion. Maybe no, it will not work. You can drive it to zero. Life is easier when it's in zero. There we go. Leave it there. It's in contact. Now you can do, and it should be on zero right there. So the next thing you want to do is add here 360, and so now it should work, and hopefully no jerking around, and it stay where it's supposed to. Well, that's about it. Nothing more into it. If somebody can find out why I'm having that leader missing the contact, And I kind of like this separation here because it really is, sometimes they build uh, the connection here of the yoke too tight with the pin on the crank. I like that way. You can do a lot of more fancy stuff depending how you design uh, this part here. So I found that very interesting. You can do very decent stuff there, but sometimes it's just the way Fusion 360 works. You don't know whether you are the problem or somebody else is the problem, somebody to blame into it. But I'm more into. I would say I'm not fully happy with the end result, but see, I proposed to myself that I want to do this simulation and see what happened, and so this is the result. As I always said, be safe, whatever be your final destination. Bye.